and welcome to Get Piano Lesson 8. Now that we're finally in the business of playing the piano with both hands, we're going to gradually perform a series of piano exercises that will progressively challenge your hand-to-hand coordination on the keyboard. Now in our last lesson, we started off playing our first two-handed piano assignments with our right hand playing the lead melody line. And that's a very common way to play the piano. But in today's lesson, we're going to emphasize most of our attention on our left hand. And remember, at this point, we're not focusing on reading musical notes at this time. These next few piano assignments are designed to improve your playing ability on the keyboard rather than turn you into an expert at reading sheet music. And if you have any doubts, just take my word for it. You really don't know how to read sheet music in order to become a great piano player. And by the end of our 10th lesson together, you're going to begin to understand why. Not that I have anything against reading sheet music, because we're definitely going to cover all aspects of music theory later on in that piano course. But I have a hunch that if you're anything like how I was when I first started learning piano, you just want to get your hands on the keyboard and start playing music. And what we do today and during our next few piano lessons will lay the groundwork for getting you skilled enough to play just like that in a short amount of time. And we're going to play that song, by the way, later on in my piano course. But in order to do so, first we've got a lot of material to cover and practice in order for you to gain that kind of playing ability to seamlessly float around the keyboard in such a way. And you may notice that I structure each of these lessons so that you learn at least one new concept each time around. But as I said, our task during this lesson is to begin to play the piano using both hands, but we're going to work our left hand more than our right. So let's get started with Get Piano Lesson 8. Now in this next exercise, we're going to again play two horizontal lines of numbers which represent the fingers of each hand. The blue line of numbers on top we're going to play with our right hand, and the green line of numbers on the bottom we'll play with our left hand. Again, notice, just as in our previous lesson, that I've divided this exercise up into short little sections. This way it's easier for us to focus on each individual section at a time, and the entire assignment as a whole doesn't seem so complicated. And you can tell by looking at this arrangement of numbers that our left hand will be doing most of the work this time, as our right hand will play only one note for every two left hand notes within each short section. So let's start things off first by playing the notes for our right hand, which you'll see is a very simple part to play. Let's get our right hand in our middle C hand position, and again, here we have a count of 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And for the right hand, we're going to play and hold each of our right hand notes for a length of 2 beats. Just like this. And 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 3. Okay, so nothing too dramatic is going on with the right hand. It's pretty straightforward. Every time we have a count of 2 beats, we play just one note with the right hand. So now that we see how our right hand plays along to the beat, let's take a look at the notes we'll play with our left hand. And by looking at this green sequence of numbers, it becomes obvious that our left hand has the busier job in this piece, as we're going to play one left hand note for every beat we count. Okay, so let's start out with our left hand in our all-familiar C hand position on the keyboard, just under middle C. And let's focus on playing each of these notes in time with the beat. And 5, 3, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 5, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 5. Okay, great. Now that we've had a chance to see how each hand is going to play their separate parts individually, let's work on combining both hands at the same time and hear how this exercise should really sound. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And as you can see, this is still a fairly simple piece to play. The main difference here is that we're playing a steadier group of notes with our left hand, while our right hand is playing the supporting role. But just as before, if you find it a little difficult to grasp the coordination of both hands in the beginning, just practice this exercise as slowly as you need to until you begin to get the hang of it at your own natural pace. And I also think it's a good idea to focus on playing each short section at a time until you can perform this exercise all the way through without stopping or making any mistakes. Okay, now let's do one more piano exercise where we use our left hand to play the melody line while our right hand adds some harmony. Again, we'll play the upper line of blue numbers using our right hand, and our left hand gets to play the busier row of green numbers on the bottom. And this time, let's start out with our left hand first, so we can immediately hear what our melody line is going to sound like. Let's get our left hand in our standard C hand position on the keyboard. And remember, we have a count of 2 beats during this exercise. Also notice that we have a visual representation of the beat. By the way, our numbers are split up into short sections of 2. So this way it's easier to see exactly how we're going to play one left hand note for every beat we count. Just like this. And 3, 5, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, 5. So as we can see, in this piece, the left hand is going to be pretty busy moving all around within the left C hand position. And when we bring back the numbers for our right hand, it's clear that our right hand has the easier part to play during this exercise. So this time, for every count of 2 beats, our right hand will only play and hold one note. So with our right hand in the middle C hand position, let's start it out. And 5, 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Now, when played all by itself, this simple string of notes might not be the most memorable of melody lines. However, if we play them together with the sequence of notes we just played with our left hand, that's when the true harmonic value of the right hand notes really begins to shine through. So as you can see, we're all set up to play one right hand note for every 2 left hand notes. And although this is still a fairly simple piano exercise, you'll see that as long as we play both hands correctly and in time with the beat, even a basic piece like this is still good enough to make some great sounding music. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, and welcome to bonus exercise 3. If you're watching this video segment right now, you're one of the fortunate few who are about to see some great additional piano exercises that are not available anywhere else on the internet. And although this is still a basic beginner piano course, by the end of this DVD, you're going to be playing a complete piano song using both hands that's going to sound as professional as anything you might hear on the radio today. And as I said, these bonus materials are only available on this DVD. So for now, let's reflect on the first exercise we did in Get Piano Lesson 8, and let's do a variation of that first exercise. And as you know, I like to do things backwards from time to time, so what you're looking at right now is the same exercise we did at the beginning of Lesson 8, but now it's in reverse order. And one major difference to notice in this exercise is that our right hand notes are now positioned in such a way to be played on the second beat. Now our right hand notes are still played for a time value of 2 beats, while our left hand notes are each played for 1 beat. But within each short section, we're not going to begin playing the right hand note until we strike our second left hand note. So let's start out by first playing the left hand part and hear what our melody line sounds like. We're going to place our left hand in the C hand position, and remember, we're playing 1 left hand note for each beat we count. And 2, 5, 1, 4, 3, 1, 3, 5, 2, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 3, 5. Okay, so now that we've tackled the busier part of this piece, let's focus on the oddly spaced right hand notes, which will add some harmony to this exercise. And as you can see by looking at how the right hand notes are situated, they're lined up to be played on the second beat within each of these short sections. So that means we have to be extra careful that we're actually playing each of them on the second beat and not coming in too early on the first beat. Alright, so let's get our right hand in the middle C hand position on our keyboard, and let's play through this sequence of notes. And 3, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3, 5. And as you probably noticed, each of our right hand notes were held for a duration of 2 beats. And when we bring back the left hand notes in addition to the right hand notes, we can really tell that the right hand is indeed playing only 1 note for every 2 notes the left hand plays. Alright, so now that we've practiced both parts of each hand separately, let's place our hands back on the keyboard in their proper C hand positions and continue on by playing both hands in time with the beat. Just remember that within each short section, we first begin by playing the left hand note first, and then we'll play the right hand note together with the second left hand note. Okay, so let's start counting it out. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, although I realize that this is still a basic piano exercise, there still may be some of you who may have a little difficulty coordinating both hands and the individual fingers of each hand in the beginning. So I'll just take a moment and make this exercise just as easy as it can possibly get by showing you how to play it very simply and slowly, one individual section at a time. Alright, so when you feel you've nailed this exercise perfectly and can play it without any mistakes, let's move on to bonus exercise 4, which is our second bonus exercise for Get Piano Lesson 8. Okay, welcome back to the bonus exercises for Get Piano Lesson 8. Here we're going to take another look at the second exercise we did in Lesson 8, but this time we'll play it in reverse. And as you can tell, we again have another double-handed assignment where we must play our right-hand note on our second beat. And each individual section represents a count of 2 beats, so it's easy to see from a visual standpoint how to recognize the exact timing we need to play each right-hand note on that second beat. So just as before, let's start out with our left hand first and get a sense of our basic melody line in this short piece. Let's get our left hand in our usual C hand position on the keyboard and begin playing each left hand note for every beat we count. And 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3. Now, compared to some melody lines you've heard, this one may sound a bit peculiar. But this is only half the exercise. When we bring back the right hand notes and play both lines together, that's when the true musical value of this short exercise becomes apparent. But first, let's get our right hand in our classic middle C hand position on our keyboard and focus on playing each of our right hand notes on the second beat. And remember, we can keep track of the beat by listening to our metronome or by counting out loud if necessary. And 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 5. So again, we see that our right hand plays the sweet and simple part of the exercise. And once we play these notes together with our left-hand melody line, we're going to produce some really nice sounding harmonies. So let's get both our hands back on the keyboard in their respective C hand positions and hear how this two-handed piano assignment should really sound. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And just in case you're having a hard time playing this exercise all the way through without making mistakes, let me show you how to play it very slowly and one section at a time. Okay, great. Now that we've had a chance to practice a few piano assignments emphasizing more focus on one hand versus the other, let's move ahead to our next few piano lessons where we'll really push our keyboarding skills beyond to the next level. Alright, so during our last 2 piano lessons, we've seen that when you first begin to play the piano with both hands, it can really help you out a lot if you focus most of your attention on one dominant hand, while your other hand just kind of supplements what your lead hand is playing. And we've taken turns first by making our right hand the more dominant hand, and then switching over and giving our left hand the opportunity to take a more active role. Okay, but now we're really going to step up our game a little further and give both our hands just as much work to do as the other. So get ready for Get Piano Lesson 9, because in this lesson, we won't be able to rest one hand with a lazy set of notes, while our busier hand just kind of carries the bulk of the exercise. No, in this lesson, we'll have to concentrate and focus extra hard to make sure that both our hands are simultaneously performing 2 completely different sets of notes at the same rate of speed. So this is the point where we begin to take off the training wheels and do some serious piano work. So I'll see you next time in Get Piano Lesson 9. Take care.